Okay, time for a new video, and whether you're somebody new to my channel or you are returning to my channel to watch this video, it is greatly appreciated. As always, I'm filming this video in one go, therefore I apologise in advance if I stumble over my words going forwards, and indeed if the quality of this video is fairly poor as well. If there's any lag, anything like that at all, sadly it cannot be helped, and hopefully it is not too much of an issue for you. This is yet another Eurovision 2021 related video here on my channel, and it is time for me to take a look back at last week's events. As I'm recording this, it is Tuesday the 25th of May, and this time last week we were a few hours away from the first semi-final taking place at the Rotterdam Ahoy in Rotterdam in the Netherlands. We had no idea what to expect in terms of results, and now a week later it's over and we've got cities in Italy putting their names forward, wanting to potentially host the 2022 edition. It's remarkable. This video is probably going to be quite a messy one. I'm going to ramble an awful lot. There will be lots of going back and forth over certain things. I might well repeat myself. But anyway, all I will say to begin with is that, firstly, I would have filmed this video yesterday, but I had a health flare-up once again. It's still not quite right now. Hopefully the issues will be resolved before too long. Nothing too serious, thankfully. But yes, I would have filmed yesterday, didn't get around to it. I'm filming now while I can. Secondly, in terms of the commentary, I didn't really pay too much attention to it. In terms of the hosts, they were professional. Haven't really got anything bad to say about them. Nikki Tutorials was very good. The whole Look Lab thing that she did on the official Eurovision YouTube channel was very good. Something like that every year I think would be a nice touch. And also what Krista Siegfrieds did on the YouTube channel too, Krista Calling. I think that was a nice touch as well. But yes, on the whole, the hosts were fine. I'm not sure you need 4. Really, you could get away with just 1. But it's nice that they can bounce off each other. The stage was great. The atmosphere was really good, even though there was only 3,500 fans present. And there really was a sense of togetherness, a sense of belonging, a sense of being part of something. I think this year the relationships between the artists was probably a lot closer than what we've had in previous years. And whether that's because this is the first contest that we'd had for a while, I don't know. But it was really lovely to see. You could see that there was genuine warmth between all of the acts. Anyway, I may as well read straight from Wikipedia here because it explains it better than I will. The winner was Italy with the song Zitti e Buoni, performed by Måneskin and written by the band's members. This was Italy's 3rd victory in the contest following their wins in 1964. That was Gigliola Cinquetti with Nonoletta, absolutely brilliant ballad. And 1990, that was Toto Cutugno with Insieme 1992, a really stirring anthemic track. And making them only the 2nd member of the Big Five to win the contest since Germany in 2010. Måneskin's victory also makes them the first band to win the contest since Lordi for Finland in 2006, so it was a long time coming. France, Switzerland, Iceland and Ukraine rounded out the top 5, with France and Switzerland achieving their best results since 1991 and 1993 respectively. For the first time since the mid-90s, none of the top 3 entries were performed in English. Also, for the first time since the current voting system was implemented in 2016, 4 countries received 0 points from the televote: the Netherlands, Spain, Germany and the UK, the last of those becoming the first country to receive 0 points from both the jury and televote. This was the 2nd time the UK had received 0 points in the contest, having done so in 2003, and for the first time since its debut in 2015, Australia failed to qualify, meaning Ukraine is the only nation to have never failed to qualify from the semi-finals since they started in 2004. So yes, certainly the voting procedure, which you can see my reaction to up on my channel, was quite extraordinary. It really was. 4 0 points in a row. And of course we have 5 in total this year because of the Czech Republic in the public vote in the 2nd semi-final. Absolutely extraordinary. I think Eurovision is becoming a much crueler game. It really is the case where if certain songs are being talked about, they're going to get the points. And if nobody's talking about your song, or very few people are talking about your song, you are in a lot of trouble. You really might end up with a big fat 0 on the night. And we saw that this year. It's also worth noting that out of the automatic qualifiers, 2 were the top 2 and the rest were the bottom 4. I mean, Italy and France, particularly Italy, they've been doing it for years. They just crapped on the other members of the Big Five. Absolutely. And, I mean, Italy deserved to win. France deserved to be up there. But the UK, Spain, Germany, to be fair, Germany was never going to do that well. But Spain deserved a bit more, no doubt about it. The UK certainly didn't deserve 0. I could make a whole video about that, maybe I will. And the Netherlands did not deserve to be so underrated either. Anyway, I am starting to ramble terribly. Let's get straight into this with the semi-finals. Semi-final 1, last Tuesday at the time of recording this. Let's go through the results, beginning with the non-qualifiers first. Last, song 7, Maps, Leslie Roy, Ireland. Well, when this song was released, people were saying it was Ireland's best entry for years. This will definitely be in the final. They're in with a good chance of doing well. Last of a semi-final, 2 contests on the bounce. Absolutely terrible to see. The problem here, I don't think the staging was the issue. They did go for something quite intriguing and innovative, but when you think about it, it was actually all fairly simply done. That was fine to me. It was the vocals, maybe. She was quite breathless from the start, which was a bit of a shame. And I suppose, in the grand scheme of things, what with this being a really tough semi-final, this wasn't going to stand out quite enough. I predicted Ireland would finish 13th, so I was 3 out, 20 points for Maps. Taking a look at the split results, in the jury vote, Ireland was 15th with 16 points and 15th with 4 points in the public vote. The highest jury mark for Leslie was a mark of 3 from various nations. In the public half, 2 from Australia, 1 from Malta. So it's back to the drawing board for Ireland next year. I'd like to see them send something in Irish. It's only ever happened once. Maybe next year's the time to do it again. North Macedonia finished 15th, 23 points. This was Vasil, Here I Stand. I actually thought the performance was really good, but the song, too cheesy, perhaps a bit dated. That whole moment with the silver breastplate. I mean, it was nice, but it didn't leave enough of an impression. In the split results, he was last with the juries and 13th with the public. In the jury vote, his highest mark was 6 from Romania. In the public vote, his highest mark was 8 from Slovenia. I predicted North Macedonia would be last. Then we have Australia in 14th. I got this right. Montaigne, Technicolor, 28 points. Real shame this. Even though it was her on-tape performance, I thought it was really strong, very 1980s. Glad it was very colourful, which did make sense given the title of the track. Montaigne, real name Jessica. I look forward to seeing what she does next. I think she's a very intriguing musician. Her sound is definitely something that could appeal to me down the line. It's a great shame she wasn't in Rotterdam. I'm sure she probably could have travelled. I mean, Flowrider was there. But anyway, Australia, 2 measly points, last in the public half of the results, and 14th with the juries. Australia received 12 from the Ukrainian jury. Wow, very interesting. And then in the public results, 1 point from Russia, 1 point from Ukraine. Interesting. Clearly Ukraine doesn't mind a bit of hyper-pop. But anyway, Australia's first NQ. I'm sure they'll be back next year, ready to go again. This is not an embarrassment. You know, given that Montaigne wasn't at the Ahoy, and it was a somewhat risky entry, you could say, sonically, there's no shame in not qualifying this year from a very tough semi-final. Damiyim could be back next year, we wait and see. 13th, Slovenia. I predicted 15th for Anna Soklic, Amen, 44 points. I listened to the studio version yesterday. It's a really good song, you know. It really is. Live, it was all a bit too predictable. And it was on early in the running order. And I think this year we really saw how the running order can scupper a country's chances. Slovenia were 14th with the public, 13th with the jury. In the jury vote, a high mark of 7 from Romania, and in the public half of the results, Slovenia received 3 from North Macedonia and 5 from Croatia, and that's it Really good vocals though. 12th place, Romania, so not disgraced. This really could have finished last, but I think she saved her best performance for the night. Roxanne is a great up-and-coming female musician. She could have a really fantastic career. In fact, I'd like to see her come back for Romania at some point, maybe as part of a double act. Amnesia, really nice song. Again, I listened to the studio version yesterday because I'm updating my ranking of all the songs, and it's a really nice track. I still prefer Alcohol You just a bit, but now that we know Amnesia didn't qualify, of course, would her effort last year have qualified had the contest taken place? I'm not too sure. Anyway, 85 points. I did predict Romania would finish 9th. Then, of course, I really should have thought a bit harder. The rehearsals received lukewarm responses, so I probably should have put Romania down as an NQ. Never mind, predictions are just a bit of fun anyway. Romania was a qualifier with the jury, but a non-qualifier with the public, so it was the viewers who let Roxanne down, 12th with the public. Anyway, in the jury vote, 12 points, a high mark from the Maltese jury. Interesting. In the televoting, Romania's highest mark was 10 from Italy. Just missing out then by a narrow margin, 5 points, Croatia. No shame in this. Very tough semi-final, as I keep saying. A really nice pop song. This was a great performance. She was in this sort of slightly new age robotic outfit. She had male dancers with her. They were on the runway. That semi-transparent LED screen was there. Pink and blue lighting. TikTok, lyrics in Croatian too. Really good beat. Really nice pop song. 110 points. I predicted Croatia would qualify in 10th. Looking at the split results, Croatia becomes the first nation to finish in the top 10 of both sets of results but not qualify. That's a little bit controversial, you could say. I don't know how they could rectify that in future editions. Maybe they could have a wild card entry. That's a bit risky. We wait and see if anything changes there. 9th with the public. That's above Sweden. 10th with the jury. Taking a look at the split results, Croatia had a mark of 10. That was the highest from the Irish jury. And then in the public half of the results, 12 from Slovenia and 12 from North Macedonia. Yes. Anyway, really good song. Good semi-final. Absolute joy to watch. Moving on to Oh, hang on a minute. I've got to check the other results with my prediction. Malta, I predicted, would win the semi-final. I was right. Cyprus second, they were 6th. Lithuania third, they were 4th. Russia 4th, they were 3rd. Sweden 5th, they were 7th. Ukraine 6th, they were 2nd. I should have really seen that coming. The momentum was really there with Shum last week. Azerbaijan, I predicted 7th, they were 8th. Israel 8th, they were 5th. Romania 9th, Croatia 10th. I predicted Norway 11th, they were 10th. Belgium 12th, they were 9th. Moving into semi-final 2 last Thursday, Latvia last for what must be the 4th or 5th time since the semi-finals were introduced. Latvia really need to shake up their selection process perhaps. I know they went internal for this year, but they usually have a national final. The quality I just don't think is strong enough. Deary me. If they go internal, just pick Markus Riva. Because, oh no, he's been trying for Latvia for a long time. Pick him. Samantha's done it now. Great. Next up, Markus. Because he's going to keep trying until he eventually does win a Latvian national final. Alternatively, you've got to come up with a new idea, a new approach. This is a massive disappointment. The moon is rising. Samantha, I watched a video by the Peace Around, who is much more clued up on this sort of thing, but she was saying how Samantha vocally just wasn't strong enough. She was off-key, things like that. I didn't really notice it. We know Samantha's a very good singer, but clearly she was a little bit shaky in places. The performance wasn't remotely strong enough. It was dull. It was dull. It shouldn't have been dull. We had this golden effect with hands on the backdrop. She was in a green dress, dancers in green, visors. I don't know. This was not nearly as strong as it could have been. 14 points means Latvia are last overall of this year's contest. Taking a look at the split results, let me get rid of that. Croatia, not Croatia, what am I on about? Latvia were 16th with the public, 16th with the juries. The highest mark from the jury was all 4 points, which came from Moldova. In the public half of the results, 5 came from Georgia and 1 came from Estonia. Geographical neighbours, that's understandable. But yes, the Latvian song I predicted would finish 11, 12, 13, 14th. So I was a bit off with that. Moving on, Georgia, not last. Fair play, 16 points, 16th place, Tornika Kipiani. Georgia have now not appeared in a final since 2016, which is really quite disappointing because they seem to qualify every single year. In the split results, Georgia was last with 1 point from the juries, but 14th with 15 points from the public. Taking a look at the split results again, that 1 point in the you see what I mean by rambling here? That 1 point for Georgia in the jury vote came from Bulgaria. In the public results, Georgia's highest mark was 3 from various different nations. I thought the performance was just very dull. I use that word again, it really was. They couldn't stage this in a way to make it that memorable, to be honest with you. I know various lyrics appeared on the backdrop and on him, and he sang very well, so fair play for that. But this wasn't quite right in the end. The Czech Republic, you could say this is the biggest flop of the year. Benny Cristo, Omaga, I really like the song. I like the music video. Studio version's great. Live, it felt too much as though he was holding back. Like he wasn't really going for it. Didn't hit top gear. Aesthetically, I didn't really like what was happening either. Visually, could have been so much stronger. I know I'm repeating myself. But 15th place, 23 points, 0 from the public. Now that is harsh. That is harsh. Because this song was a bit of a fan favourite. But clearly the fans just didn't go nuts for it. He was 13th with the juries. The highest mark for Benny was 6 from the Georgian jury. The next country to talk about, I believe, is Poland. This is Rafał with The Ride. 14th place, 35 points. This wasn't a car crash, in my opinion, on stage, but it was very nearly going to be. This just wasn't remotely strong enough. His vocals weren't strong enough. I think he knew he wasn't the best singer, so he was going all out for the more performance side of things, I guess. He was trying to get the crowd involved. It didn't quite work. His dancers were doing most of the work for him. They were a bit more energetic. He was quite static. I don't know. I didn't really like too much about this. But the song, it's okay. It's okay. In the split results, he was 13th with the public and 15th with the juries. In the jury vote, a high mark of 12 from San Marino. Oh, what show were they watching? Meanwhile, in the public half of the results, Poland's highest mark was 7 from the UK. There's a shock. And 7 from Moldova. So there we are. Then we have Estonia. 13th place, 58 points. Uku Savista, the lucky one. I thought he sang quite well. He was alone on stage. We had that stormy scene on the LED screen. This was totally fine, but it was on early, didn't live long in the memory, and there just needed to be a little bit more about this to stand out from the field. That little extra magic never came. As such, an NQ. A great shame because I like Estonia pretty much every year. I have a soft spot for them, if that's the correct term to be using. But anyway, Estonia were 12th with the public and the jury. The highest mark from the juries for Estonia was 7 from Bulgaria. And the highest mark from the public was 10 from Latvia. I haven't really looked at the results in immense detail yet, but I will do over the coming weeks. I have a video planned comparing Italy and the UK, so be on the lookout for that if you're interested. Austria were 12th in semi-final 2. Vincent Bueno, Amen, 66 points. I thought this might have been a qualifier after seeing the performance last Thursday. It was excellent. Not much to it. The strip of lights, the podium, the lights around the podium, his black outfit. His vocals were really, really good. And he was pouring so much emotion into the performance as well. A job well done. No disgrace in not qualifying. Maybe a few places higher would have been very well deserved, actually. But anyway, Austria, looking at the split results, he was 11th with the jury. That's a bit low. 15th with the public with 13 points. That's really quite disappointing to see. But anyway, Vincent received a high mark of 7 from the Albanian and Swiss juries. And in the public results, a high mark of 4 from Switzerland and Denmark. That means just missing out on qualification from semi-final 2, the first Danish language entry of the century, and I'm sure it won't be the last. Eurovision Flamma, the two really likeable guys, they were having a blast on stage. For Denmark, 11th place, 89 points, so quite a way away from qualifying actually. This was always touch and go as to whether it would go through or not. We had this sort of 80s vintage video game feel to the whole performance. The vocals were okay, the energy was there. This was just fun, a great closer to the second semi-final. In the split results, 15th with the juries, but 7th with the public. My word, above, tied on points for Greece, but above Serbia, above San Marino, above lots of other countries too, of course. This was great, charming, fun. Of course it was going to get some love from some countries, but you have to say, 7th place, 80 points, that's very impressive indeed. Anyway, looking at the split results in a bit more detail here, the highest mark from the juries was 4 from Austria, and in the public results, only one country gave Flamma nothing, and that was Moldova. 12 in the public results for Denmark came from Iceland. There's a surprise. Anyway, that's it. Let's take a look at the final, but before then, just to give you my predictions, I predicted Switzerland would win. They did. Bulgaria second, they were third. Iceland third, they were second. Greece fourth, they were sixth. Finland fifth, they were. Serbia sixth, they were eighth. San Marino seventh, they were ninth. Oh dear. Portugal 8th, they were 4th. Very, very impressive. Moldova 9th, they were 7th. Albania 10th, and they were. I predicted Denmark would be 13th, they were 11th. Austria 12th, they were 11th. No, they weren't. I predicted Austria 11th, they were 12th. Deary me, I'm getting messed up here because I'm looking at so many statistics. Estonia were 13th, I predicted 15th. Poland 14th, I predicted 16th. Czech Republic 15th, I predicted 12th. Georgia, I predicted last, they were 16th. Latvia finished 17th, I predicted 14th. That's enough. The grand final last Saturday. Well, where do you begin? At the bottom, with the United Kingdom. I predicted 26th. No, I didn't. I didn't predict 26th. What's that all about? What is going on here with this? No. No. Let me change this. What have I done here? What absolute mumbo jumbo is this? That's a bit more like it. Lovely. Let's save that. No, I don't know what was going on there. I predicted the UK 25th. They were 26th. James Newman with Embers. Such a nice guy. Really likeable. So enthusiastic. And he was not an absolute jerk after the contest either. He put something up on his Twitter page saying what a wonderful experience it was for him and his team. He's not going to let it affect him. 0 points. The thing is, the British media predicted it because they have such a negative attitude towards the contest. Katrina, our most recent winner, said, let's not blame Brexit. Let's be honest and say that the song didn't have the wow factor. That was the words she used. I couldn't agree more with her. We need a song that you cannot ignore, that you have to pay attention to. Visually arresting, sonically arresting, a song that's just going to blow people away from the very first listen. The Italian song did that. The French song did that. The Swiss song sort of did that. The Finnish song did that. The British song didn't. There wasn't enough promotion. Now, admittedly, James couldn't tour Europe because of the pandemic. But this song didn't receive much love. Radio 1 were more interested in the Icelandic track than our entry. That says volumes. We need to support our act every year. It needs to be promoted so much, and it needs to have that wow factor. Embers didn't. I thought the performance was okay, with the big trumpets on stage. He sounded alright as well. A bit more energy wouldn't have gone amiss. I mean, there's no point looking at the split results, because he was last, with both the jury and the public. Now, I do know, I believe it's in the Swedish jury, one member did put Embers above Italy, which is quite interesting, and I'm interested to know if any other jury members did that. But yes, the UK is not something to laugh about. The BBC could seriously consider withdrawing. I mean, there will be journalists, members of the press, who've already said, who will say when next year's contest rolls around, that we should withdraw, we should boycott. It's just ridiculous. Brexit has nothing to do with it. Our results were crap before that vote even happened, and there are other countries going through a lot of political bits and pieces as well. I don't know. The UK, I think, needs a big current name. Not Bonnie Tyler, not Engelbert Humperdinck. A current name. There's surely musicians out there now with chart success who would want to do this, who would want to turn our fortunes around. Surely there's somebody out there, young, great, talented, as long as they have complete control, because I do not trust the BBC with any aspect of the contest at all, to be honest with you. Staging, promotion, don't trust them. So let the artists do all of the work, pretty much. Let them sell the hell out of it. And let's see what happens next year. That's all I can say. I might make a whole video about it. We wait and see. Cold peppermint tea. Yeah, all I can say to finish on the United Kingdom this year is that he didn't deserve 0. He deserved a few points. But I think most of us expected he would be very close to last place, if not last. Then it's Germany. Well. Ben Dolic, what would he have thought of this? I Don't Feel Hate by Jendrik. 25th place, 3 points. I mean, he might have been in the green room shrugging this off, but actually, it's another crap result for Germany. It's not good enough. You turn things around. If Germany, in the European Championships, which start in a few weeks, if they don't make the semi-finals at least, that, to me, if I was German and a German football fan, I'd be thinking, that is not good enough. We demand change. If a country, let's say the UK, if the UK doesn't win many medals at the Olympic Games, that is an embarrassment. That's a failure. You could call it a failure. And you would demand change. So why would you accept failure? Why would you accept embarrassment in the biggest singing entertainment competition in the world? You shouldn't. So you demand change. And if I was a German Eurovision fan, I'd be absolutely furious that we even sent this to the contest in the first place. Saying that, it's a charming track. I thought he performed it quite well. He's a really likeable guy. In the split results, Germany were 25th with the jury, 25th with the public, even though they had a big fat 0. Those marks from the jury for Germany, 2 came from Austria and the other 1 came from Romania. So they didn't feel hate, that's for sure. Moving on to Spain. I should say I predicted Germany last and they were 1 up. Then we have Spain, who I predicted 22nd. They were 24th. Voy a quedarme, Blas Canto, 6 points. He sang this very well. That falsetto, maybe he didn't need to do that much, but it was very nice. That massive moon on stage, biggest prop ever seen at Eurovision apparently. It's another crap result for Spain. I feel so bad for them. I mean, they can't get out of the bottom 5. They just live there. It's terrible to see. I'd love Spain 1 year to just win with 750 points and everybody goes nuts. I'd love to see that happen. But it's not looking likely whatsoever. I mean, this is just so poor and so disheartening to see. Operación Triunfo was used way back in the day and there was some success. And then they brought it back a few years ago, and there wasn't as much success. Blas was internally selected, and he's a good singer, nice guy, great voice. This song, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful song with a lovely message behind it too. I don't know how Spain can change. I think they need to pick a big name. Somebody current. I'm just going to check this while I'm here, because otherwise it's going to bug me. Somebody like... Is she actually Spanish? Yes. Rosalia. 27 years of age. From Sant Esteve Sesrovires. She is a flamenco urban pop musician. She's probably way too famous to do it now because she's won 8 Latin Grammy Awards, for crying out loud. But she's a big, big star, 2 albums, a current successful musician. That's the sort of thing that Spain need to be doing, I'm afraid. Somebody like that, something a bit traditional, flamenco pop, hell yes, we'll have that at Eurovision. It'll stand out a mile. So hopefully Spain come back to the table next year with a really cracking effort. That's what I'd like to see. Spain were 24th with the juries, 24th with the public with a big fat 0. Spain's marks, 2 from the UK, 4 from Bulgaria, and that's it. Great shame. Then it's the Netherlands, the host country. I don't know what it is, but for some reason host nations always seem to flop on home soil. I don't think we'll have that with Italy next year. But anyway, Jean-Guy McCroy, great singer, Birth of a New Age. I think this song grew in people's estimations after he performed it on Saturday. This is a really nice track, very personal to him. Lyrics in English and Sranantongo, very colourful towards the end. A little bit of boogieing as well, if you want to call it that. 11 measly points. I predicted 17th. 23rd is a great, great shame. Looking at the results, 3 points from the Austrian jury, 2 from Bulgaria, I believe that is. Oh dear, I've lost my place. 3 from Australia, 1 from Portugal, 2 from the Georgian jury as well. So spread about a bit, but only 11 points. That's really low for what is actually a really nice piece of music. Very different, stood out from the field in terms of its sound. Then San Marino, 22nd place. Well, what we've seen here is that the addition of an American musician adds absolute be-all. Absolute no impact whatsoever. The hype was immense when Senate teased that Flo Rida would join her for this track. Eurovision fans were going nuts. I wasn't. I sat back and thought, okay, fair enough. Let's see what he brings to the table. What he brought to the table was absolute diddly squat. He turned up. Now he's probably thinking, that's the last time I ever do anything like this in my life. Adrenalina is a really good pop song. I don't know why it flopped. And it really did. It flopped. 50 points, 22nd place. I predicted 11th. So I was well out with this one. Senate sounded okay. I read online some Eurovision fans said that it was too messy in the end. There was quite a bit going on to the performance. The rotating platform, the headpiece or whatever you want to call it that she was wearing at the start, the choreography, then Flo Rida, all the pyros. There was quite a bit going on. I like the song more than I did, but I still don't love it. And I'm not sure Flo Rida really needed to be there at all. I don't know. Anyway, in the split results, San Marino was 18th with the juries and 21st with the public. Those public marks for San Marino came from, well, there was 3 from Azerbaijan, there was 3 from Italy, makes sense, and there was 7 from Georgia. Interesting. I think it's not really worth looking in close detail at the specific marks now, because I'm going to lose my place. It's spreadsheets, for crying out loud. Anyway, after San Marino, unbelievably, Serhat still has their best ever result. Remarkable. Albania, 21st. I predicted 23rd. This was always likely to do as well, maybe slightly better than Jonida Manici 2 years ago. Anyway, Angela Peristeri with Karma. She sang very well. A bit of a diva figure. She looked great. The staging, not much to it, but we had the sort of red flashes of light on the backdrop. I thought that was quite nice. Can't really fault it, but I suppose on early in the running order, not quite high impact enough. That was maybe its downfall. 21st, 57 points in the split results. Albania was 16th with the public and 20th with the juries. Fair enough. Still though, 3 finals in a row, 3 songs in Albanian in a row. Next year, a song in Albanian again. I'd like that, but not a female ballad. Next up, Azerbaijan. Well, I think they'll be very disappointed with 20th place, 65 points. Matahari by Effendi. This was fine. I liked the colour scheme. There was quite a lot to like about this performance, but the stage felt a bit empty, even though she had dancers. There just needed to be that little extra something to make it stand out from the field. I predicted 21st, so I was 1 out with this. Azerbaijan was 19th with the juries, 17th with the public. Fair enough, fair enough. 10 years ago, that would have been in the top 10 for Azerbaijan, I'm sure, but times have changed. I'd like them to send something in their own language next year, but that ain't happening. Then we have Belgium, Hooverphonic, vastly experienced group. Their latest album's gone to #1 back home. They've been making music for so long, this won't damage their careers one bit. Hooverphonic, the wrong place, performed in English of course, 19th place, 74 points. I predicted 20th. Oh no, I didn't. Sorry, it's because of the average mark here. So I did get this right actually. Norway's here as well. But I predicted Belgium in the right position. Deary, deary me. In the split results, now, Belgium had a measly 3. Oh, that's so poor and disappointing to see. 3 points, 22nd in the public half of the results. And those 3 points came from 1 from Ukraine and 2 from Lithuania. Fair enough. In the jury half of the results, Belgium were 13th, which is not too bad at all. This deserved a bit more appreciation right from the get-go, if you ask me. I really like the whole atmosphere and the sort of moody nature of this track and the performance. Nice vocals too. 19th, I can understand. Then we have Norway. I don't think this was ever really going to trouble the top 10. 75 points for Tix. Nice guy, decent voice, Fallen Angel. Never liked the staging, but it is what it is. In the split results, Norway were 13th, above Malta, in the public half of the results. He was way down in 22nd with the jurors. I think this was always going to appeal more to neutral viewers than the jury members. I predicted 20th for Norway, so I was 2 places out. Then we move on to, Norway are capable of better. Imagine if this had been Kano with Monument. Where would they have finished? A lot higher. Next year, I look forward to MGP because I always think it's one of the more, not necessarily stronger, but it's definitely one of the national finals I always look forward to the most. Israel finished 17th. I predicted 18th. This was Aidan Elena with Set Me Free. Vocally, not too bad. The song itself, though, I've been saying this so much, it's just okay. It's not outstanding. It's not really poor either. 93 points in the split results. Israel were 20th with the public and 12th. That's quite high, actually, with the juries. Fair enough. Then we move on to Cyprus. A little bit disappointing, this. I suppose being on early was maybe a bit damaging. I predicted 8th for Elena Sagrinu with El Diablo, the Devil. Her semi-final performance was a bit better. I don't know what it was about her performance in the final. I wasn't quite as invested. But this was so sexy. It's a great pop song. I really liked the way that they staged it. The choreography, El Diablo up in flames, the mirror effect. All really nicely done. And I wouldn't be surprised if Cyprus send another slick pop song next year. Why not? Because they're getting into the final. They are on a hot qualification streak here, which not many people seem to be talking about. However, I'd also like them to send something totally different. Something in Greek, maybe. Anyway, 94 points in the split results. Cyprus were 15th with the public, 16th with the juries. Moving on, Serbia, 15th. Fair enough. I predicted 16th. If anything, this should have been a few places higher, but a lot of the public votes came from fellow Balkan nations. So maybe this song just didn't have that broad appeal for whatever reason. But this was such a fierce performance. They sang the hell out of this. I know they were a bit reliant on the backing vocals, absolutely. But this was just a really great performance to watch. I know it's had millions of views. Hurricane are a big, big band in the Balkans. Loco Loco finished with 102 points in the split results. Serbia were 9th with the public and way down in 21st with 20 points from the juries. That's low. This deserved a bit more love. Certainly one of my favourites of the year. Then we have Sweden, out of the top 10 for the first time in 9 years. I believe it is. Tussle with Voices, 14th place, 109 points. This now should be a sign to SVT, the broadcaster over there, that next year there needs to be more variety. There needs to be less playing it safe. Melfest does need more wildly different tracks. It really does. Because we have a lot of samey stuff every year, and it does get dull. And even though I enjoy Melfest a lot, I don't know, it would just be so refreshing to have something totally different at the contest next year. Anyway, 14th is not too bad. I predicted 15th in the split results. 11th with the public. Way down in 17th with the juries. That is rare to see. Sweden doing better with the public. It is what it is. Moldova 13th. Well. Some very odd results for Moldova, it must be said. 8. I believe it's 8 sets of 12 points. Look at that. 8 12 points from the public in the second semi-final. No way. No way. That does reek of dodginess to me, but hey, they're not investigating it, the EBU said earlier today. But Moldova, punching above their weight again, it must be said. Natalia Gordienko, the 06 representative, back with Sugar. 13th place, 115 points. I predicted 24th, so I was well off. In the split results, Moldova was 12th with the public. That is above Malta and Cyprus and Bulgaria, my goodness me, and above San Marino. I don't get it. But anyway, Moldova was 15th, above Sweden, above San Marino, above Serbia in the jury half of the results. The performance was okay. She dropped her microphone. I just wanted more of the music video on stage. I wanted that wackiness in a good way on stage. We never got it. She could have performed this a tiny bit better. Vocally, it could have been a bit better too. On the whole, it wasn't too bad, but 13th place, that's a bit high. Moldova in 12th is... not Moldova, what am I on about? Portugal in 12th is a real success story. They had no hope, really, before the contest, but the power of rehearsals and press getting on side, this is tremendous. And it might mean we get more songs fully in English from Portugal in the future. Love Is On My Side, The Black Mamba, terrific. It's growing on me more and more every time I hear it. It started off in monochrome and then the screen widened. Great lead vocals. This was just really beautiful. Repetitive but beautiful. I predicted 13th. 153 points. Absolutely marvellous. And not disgraced in the public half of the results either. 19th, above San Marino. And in the jury result, 7th. Absolutely wonderful to see. It's one of what am I on about? It's one of Portugal's best results ever. Truly terrific stuff. Because it was so unlikely to be anywhere near the final a few weeks ago, and to finish 12th is remarkable. 11th place, Bulgaria. I had a tiny sneaky feeling that this would probably not do terribly well with the public. I certainly didn't expect so low a mark. I predicted 5th for Bulgaria. 11th is not a disgrace. Growing Up Is Getting Old, really nice performance. The song is very low key, so perhaps it just didn't stand out from the field enough. Very emotionally charged. She was clinging on to that photograph of her and her father in the green room. Her vocals were very nice too. Just a really gentle, sweet, touching song to listen to. Bulgaria was 6th with the juries, but 18th with the public. That is quite a few places too low, if you ask me. But Bulgaria, I've seen on their Twitter feed, that they are looking at things to do for next year. We wait and see. Moving into the top 10, Greece, their first top 10 results since 2014, I think it is. Could be wrong. Last dance, Stefania, great young performer. She didn't look totally comfortable on stage. I liked her outfit. She had male dancers. There was the whole green screen thing, which on TV looked perfectly okay. I mean, it wasn't brilliant. It didn't work consistently, but it was okay. In the arena, it looked crap because it's just a green screen. Vocally okay. Top 10, yeah, fair enough. I predicted 14th for this. In the split results, I know the French jury gave this 12 out of the blue, but anyway, Greece were 10th with the public and the jury, so they were pretty much in agreement. Fair enough. Decent result for Greece, and I did say in a previous video how this could be a return to form for them, so I think they'll push on next year. Russia 9th. Fair enough. 204 points for Russian Woman by Manesia. Very powerful, stirring stuff. The flames, the strong imagery on the backdrop. That moment when she performed to these images of Russian women on the LED screen. That was one of the moments of the contest, you could say. In the split results, Russia did marginally better with the juries in the semi-final as well. 104, 8th place with the jury in the final, 8th, 100 points from the public in the final too. I predicted Russia would be 9th, and I was right. Moving on, Lithuania, 8th place, their second best result ever. Tremendous. The Roop, discotheque, 220 points. Now, I did say in a previous video how Lithuania does have a diaspora vote that they can usually rely on. But this song was quirky enough and engaging enough to get points from all corners. That's what happened. I predicted 10th. It ended up 2 places higher. Absolutely terrific. The song does still feel quite modern and original to me. 7th with the public. 14th's a little bit disappointing with the juries. But then again, I think this was always going to appeal to the public more. Nothing else like it in the competition. This year was very much the year of the bands, and the Roop in the top 10 is lovely to see. I think Lithuania really are improving year after year. They're gearing up for that maiden win. 7th, Malta. They'll be disappointed, but it's a top 10 finish for a country that we don't often see in the top 10 these days. Destiny is 18 years of age. She sang so well. She performed this really well as well. I'm repeating myself. There could have been a bit more to the staging, the music video, more stuff from the music video on stage somehow. I liked her backing dancers. Jemakas, 255 points, always going to do better with the juries. I predicted 4th, so I was a few places out. In the split results, 3rd with the juries, 14th with the public. That's a little disappointing, but it's once again Malta struggling for public support for whatever reason. I really don't get it. Anyway, Finland was 6th. This is, I think, their second best result in their entire time participating in the contest. Wonderful. They won with rock. Their second best result is rock. And Finland, I know that they did do this a few years ago. They won with Lordi. Then they had rock again, didn't do as well in 07. Then they had rock again in 2008 and did even worse. So having rock at the contest is great, just don't do it every year because it might backfire. But anyway, Blind Channel, Dark Side. I saw people online saying that this was better than Italy's brand of rock. I mean, that's up for debate. This was very much new metal Linkin Park style stuff. 301 points. The juries didn't hate this either. Looking at the split results, which I've just scrolled past, Finland were 11th with the jury, 4th with the public. Absolutely remarkable. Should have seen it coming, really. This song had a lot of fans, whereas San Marino, people hyped up and hyped up and hyped up and said this will finish in the top 10, never anywhere near. When people heard Dark Side for the first time, and the performance was really good, there was a lot of fury and venom in the vocals as well. It was really, really tremendous to watch. When that song was released, people said, this could be top 10 in the final, and that's exactly what happened. So maybe you could even say, with regards to San Marino, size does matter. I don't know. But anyway, I predicted Finland would be 12th. I'm happy to be wrong. Tremendous stuff. Then we have Ukraine 5th. Again, I should have seen that huge public marking coming. 364 points. You have to say it's quite deserved. This ended up being a bit of a viral hit. This sort of strange electro-punk, because there are slight punkish elements to me at least, electro-punk folk, all blended together to create this very unique sound, this unique performance. I mean, it's Ukrainian rave. Absolutely wonderful. And it was a really standout performance in the first semi-final and in the grand final. Shum was second with the public with a huge 267 and ninth with the juries. So some Eurovision fans thought the juries might totally dismiss this for being too aggressive or unusual. They didn't. They did dish out some love, and Ukraine finished fifth in the end. Fourth place, Iceland. Best result since 2009. Dadri and Gagna Magnet weren't even there on stage at the Ahoy. They were in a hotel room somewhere in Rotterdam. But this was really good. 10 years, 378 points. I believe the British jury gave this 12. I could be wrong. Certainly they gave it a lot of love. Anyway, this was really strong. Disco, throwback pop, worked well. The choreography, the awkwardness to it, really came together very well on the night. What a great shame they weren't there in the arena to bask in the cheers from the crowd. In the split results, Iceland, fifth with the jury, fifth with the public. Saw it happening. I predicted sixth. I mean, this was never going to be forgotten easily, was it? Third place, Switzerland. He won the jury vote. Clearly that massive high note he did in the jury final last Friday really worked in his favour. 432 points in the end is a really fantastic mark. It's Switzerland's best result since I was about 2 months old, 2 or 3 months old. John's Tears, really nice guy, really fabulous singer. My word, he performed this well. Thankfully, he wasn't behind the piano, of course. He had all of these white structures around him, and he was on one too. And he was moving about, sort of this modern interpretive dance thing going on. Maybe it looked a bit weird, but it worked in his favour. He won the jury vote, as I mentioned a minute ago, and was sixth with the public. I predicted third. He was third. Switzerland now, after finishing fourth 2 years ago and third this year, they must be feeling really confident of winning at some point soon. Maybe it will be Zurich or Bern 2025. I don't know. It could happen. The runner-up, France. And obviously Italy won. But this should be motivation for the BBC, for the Spanish broadcaster, for the German broadcaster. Germany would have done well had the contest not been cancelled last year. So they can do it. Spain, I'm not so convinced. The BBC, I'm not convinced one bit. But the fact that we have France, years of utter mediocrity, coming with this, absolutely turning things around. They need to push on now. Barbara Pravi is brilliant. I will be keeping an eye on her, the music she releases. Voila! She absolutely poured her heart out on stage. So simply done. Executed to perfection. Nothing really needed to change from the national final. Very little did change. 499 points. I predicted second. That's what happened. And what was wonderful to see as well, France not dismissed by the public. Third overall in that half of the results. 251's an absolutely tremendous score. And I'm really thrilled that this slow chanson type song really struck a chord with a lot of people. Maybe viewers really connected with what she was singing, even if they didn't understand French. I don't know. Anyway, second with the juries, absolutely fair enough. Tremendous. And then that leaves, of course, Italy, their third win. Next year, somewhere in Italy, we're going to have an absolutely sensational 3 shows. Maneskin. Italy have completed the perfect hat-trick. They've won with a male soloist, they've won with a female soloist, they've won with a band consisting of a woman and 3 men. They've done it. Zitti e buoni, shut up and behave. 524 points. Oh my word, well you might have seen my reaction, I was thrilled about this. Italy have been trying so hard to win. RAI, the broadcaster, wanted to win. They've done it. It's a band, they wrote it themselves, they're so young. This is proof rock music can do the business at the contest. Next year we might get a lot more rock. It starts in the national finals. That's where we need more variety of songs. It doesn't matter if it's rock, if it's jazz, country and western. I'm all for it. We need more variety, fresh young musicians. And what's great about Sanremo is that it gives young Italian talent the opportunity to make a name for themselves. It gives them the opportunity to win. It gives them the opportunity to go to Eurovision. It gives them the opportunity to win Eurovision. You see the point I'm trying to make here. Sanremo is successful because it gives established names and newcomers a great chance for success. Maneskin are going to go from strength to strength. I've read they might be playing Glastonbury next year. I mean, I'm all for it. If they come to the UK, I'll try and see them. They've got such energy, such swagger. The lead singer, Damiano, he might have taken drugs in the green room. Did he hell? It was a broken glass. Come on now, I don't know who started that rumour. But anyway, in the split results, Italy succeeded because the juries didn't ignore them. They appreciated the vibrant, visceral nature of this performance. Fourth, just missing out on third actually, fourth with the juries, the easy, comfortable winner of the public half of the results. I predicted Italy would win. I'm thrilled I was right. And what else is there to say? Victoria De Angelis is a very, very beautiful woman. They're all beautiful. They're Italian. One of the highlights of this year's contest was, I think it's Ethan, hopefully I'm getting his name right, the drummer. He was just sort of having this existential crisis. He just stood there like, what? Clearly it wasn't sinking into him that he had won the Eurovision Song Contest. But anyway, what this means as well, 3 songs in the top 3, all non-English tracks. That means we should be getting more foreign language entries, well, foreign language to me at least, foreign language entries next year. Some countries definitely need to turn it around. The UK I've mentioned, and I'll mention again in a future video. Spain, Germany a bit. The Netherlands will bounce back. Because rock won, next year from the Netherlands, send rock. Within Temptation, Kensington, bands that I'm familiar with. Go down that route. Finland, send Nightwish. Somebody like that. You nearly did years ago. Send something like that. I don't know. Maybe the UK should send somebody like Wolf Alice, or Lauren Aquilina, or Dodie, somebody who's quite current and young and fresh and might want to do it. Or, I don't know, Mabel, or Jess Glynn, or Ella Eyre, musicians like that. I'm just thinking out loud now. This has turned into a right shambles of a video. I'm just going to take a look at the semi-finals again. Yeah, Israel did very well with the juries in the semi-final. Belgium did very well with the juries too. Ukraine won the public half of the results in semi-final 1, whereas Malta won it comfortably, and Russia was second. That's very, very impressive. Disappointing for Ireland and Australia. Semi-final 2, Finland won the public half of the results, which I don't think many people saw coming, but you have to say it was quite deserved in the end. Portugal fared brilliantly. Moldova 4th in the public half of the results. I don't get. It wasn't that amazing. Denmark 7th. The juries let them down, as I said earlier. San Marino did better with the juries. Can you believe it? Serbia maybe should have done a little bit better in the semi-final and the final. Greece, not too bad. Bulgaria, a shame about the public marks in the final. Austria, a bit underrated by the public in the semi-final as well. Czech Republic, 0 points, was undeserved. But there we are. Eurovision can be a cruel, cruel game. And all I can say to finish this messy video on is that next year, of course, the contest will be coming to us from Italy for the 3rd time. We've had Rome, we've had Naples. It looks as though Turin 2022 at the Pala Alpitur is the likely candidate. Sanremo have put themselves forwards. The Teatro Ariston is where Sanremo takes place every year. It's tiny. You can't have it there unless they do something magical. I don't know. Rome is in contention, but it's not very big. Naples is in contention. Milan, that would be good. Bologna's pretty big. Florence, maybe. I'm sure many, many other cities will put their names forwards as well. It seems as though there's a lot of interest, and that stems from the broadcaster. They wanted to win. They've got what they deserve, and all you can do is sit back and say, job well done. Watch and learn other broadcasters. Next year I want more genres. I want not necessarily countries taking more of a risk, but I want more variety, and that variety starts in the national finals. Broadcasters who opt to go internal should look at all genres, all types of musicians, particularly musicians who have written the songs themselves, who are performing in their own languages, and you need to give them complete control over their performance at the contest, because that seems to be the case with what happened with Maneskin, and look what happened. They won convincingly. Well deserved. Thank you for all of the support over the past few weeks. It means a great deal. I'm going to try and keep an eye on my health, because it hasn't been brilliant, and there will be more videos to come. Don't worry about that. Feel free to keep an eye on my other social media pages, links in the description as always. It's been a big ramble. I told you it would be. My peppermint tea went cold very quickly. Great. That's it. Roll on Eurovision 2022 from somewhere in Italia. Yes. Hopefully the quality wasn't too bad. Until next time, whenever that will be, thanks for the support. Bye for now.